I need to ask you this, actually. We talked about like maybe starting to gatekeep some of the things we're working on
Right.
and not share it and kind of keep it internal. We need to make a decision about that. Because like I want to look at the camera right now and explain, for example, how we're seeing a very clear trend with all these government models that are coming out. And CareCo is really an underlying core foundational element that is necessary to execute on this general direction that things are going on. But it's really about Gen 2 of the call guide.
Right.
So what do we want to do?
Do what you're saying about sharing versus not sharing?
Yeah.
So here's my thought that I shared with you guys lately is that it's becoming clear that with the advances in AI for coding, even recently in the last month, I mean, to me, it's become crystal clear that soon it's going to be able to do almost everything. And that means that it's very powerful. Like it's the age of the idea person, you know, like if you have an idea, you can build an app, soon you can have robotics, you know, to do a lot of stuff. It's just you sit and you talk and the system is smart enough I was able to, on one of these like base 44 lovables, build a full app. I mean, I'm not saying that like the code base and the back end and the structure and the schemas are exactly precisely the way I want it, but it's definitely getting there. It's getting closer and closer. So what does that mean? It means that soon anybody with any idea is going to be able to do anything, which is very powerful. And it means, but the flip side of that is that once you have a good idea and you kind of execute really well, you kind of basically told your competitor that can basically build it for almost zero exactly what he needs to build. So today, a lot of big SaaS companies have advantages because they have hundreds of thousands of man hours of coding. They just have these huge systems that no one can think to compete. It becomes like to build a competitor, to build a big SaaS company today requires, it's very hard to code. So you need to build a team. You need to convince the team to come in. You need to know how to manage the team. You need to get capital investment. There's a lot to manage. That's the whole complexity. But now that you can just tell an AI to do it, all that is gone. So it's just about the idea. And then if someone else did the idea well, you can copy it. So what kind of advantage do they have? And then you're just competing on margins. And on the contrary, I would say companies that start now in the age of AI have a much better advantage because they're not limited to that big structure, that big hulk that other companies built. Once you kind of build something in the old-fashioned way, it's very hard to become an AI native company. Like we see even Apple and Amazon, the reason why they struggled so much was because they had a very structured way their company works in terms of isolated responsibilities, which worked very well for many years. So it was almost like, you know, the holy grail that they don't touch. And probably either, I don't know internally if people were demanding to switch it or not, but the company wasn't willing to take that risk. And therefore, the collaboration that's needed to actually move fast with AI didn't happen there. So what I'm really getting at is that if it's the age of the idea person and anybody can copy anybody else's idea easily, then what does that mean? That means your margins are going to go down and you're going to be almost useless if you build a software company. So almost you can't make money from a software company because any good software company, I mean, this is taking it to its logical conclusion that AI is going to continue improving and improving and improving. And we're seeing that it is. I mean, I know in the past they said we kind of hit a wall. It seemed like we hit a wall, but now suddenly it seems like we didn't hit a wall. So if we take this to its logical conclusion, if it continues the way it is in a couple of years, it's going to be useless to build a SaaS company because you don't have any advantage because you're just putting all the effort in discovering what's the right product. Great. And then the other guy doesn't even need to put that effort. He's just going to be like one of these Chinese companies that just look at the American product and just copies it and they flood the market and they put you out of business. So I think the idea is maybe having the great ideas and not sharing it, leveraging it yourself for your own business. So it's kind of like a vertical business idea. So let's say in our case, if we're building great software for care coordinators and we're making their lives much easier and we're making them way, way more efficient and we're bringing the quality of care way, way higher, why don't we leverage that in a way that no one knows what we're doing? In the way that, for example, we run a services company that does care coordination, and this company will operate at a crazy level that no one is able to because of the ideas that we have with CareCo, and CareCo is going to be powering it. But at the same time, we're not sharing that with the world, so no one really is able to come in and fully understand what we're doing and fully replicate us. So basically, use software now, use your ideas to strengthen a real business as opposed to the idea itself being a business, as opposed to the idea and the software being a business. Use your creative ideas to power other businesses. That's the thought.
Okay.
It's not.
So it's a solid thought, and it's been something that Y Combinator and Silicon Valley have been on about. They've been calling it, I don't know, full stack AI or something like that. They've been calling it for a while, and I know this because a lot of people that I speak to, like in the investment space, when they talk to me and I tell them my story, I have this service-based company and I started this second company and it's separate. They're like, why is it separate? Those two things you should join them so that this whole thing happens. And I would say, so it's a very valid way of thinking. My argument though would be, first of all, and this isn't necessarily a full argument, but it is worthwhile understanding that running a software business and running a service business are two extremely different types of businesses, and they take different energies and different types of management, and all that means you just have to have different management structures, whatever. So that's not like a total blocker, but it's worth recognizing. But I think the larger thing is that there's other elements to a successful SaaS company that are not just about the idea and because what barriers basically drop. So one of the barriers of entry used to be manpower, which means capital, right? You need a lot more people to do this thing, and now that shrinks tremendously.
There's a risk of getting capital, and there's risk that even if you got capital, that you hire the right people and the right teams to build the right product at the right pace.
Right.
So there's a lot of risk in that.
So unless your logical conclusion is literally not needing anybody, sitting in a room in a basement, and just basically the only important guy is the idea guy. If that's the logical conclusion, then that's a bit extreme, but that's basically just me sitting in a basement, and I literally go from a prompt, just like today you could take ChatGPT at least and write an email. I could literally fully have scalable, and production ready software, at least production ready enough for in-house use to a large whatever extent. But again, like, what goes into running a business? So 1 second, there's a couple things that I want to that I think are here. There's still the element of getting some sort of team together, making them run together, all that kind of stuff, right? The idea, we think, regardless, you're saying the idea is the moat, is right. The idea, right? But then you also have...
I mean, it's not the moat anymore because anybody can copy it.
No, I'm saying not the moat, the IP, whatever, like right. the thing you want to protect right. is the exactly. idea, right? Then you have... Okay, but there's still other things that there's other dynamics at play. So there's distribution. At the end of the day, distribution is key. You could sit in your basement from today to tomorrow. You could have the best product from today to tomorrow.
Right.
You have to figure out distribution. You have to figure out relationships. You have to figure out networking. You have to figure out, and then there's the other thing. Just because people could build software doesn't mean they're going to build software, right? So I think we're always at the bleeding edge of wherever AI is when it comes to building things. And why don't these legacy companies start up another startup within them to compete with themselves? And people don't, because they don't. Why don't hospitals build their own EHRs? Because they don't.
So I think you're touching on a few things. I think there are a lot of defensibilities against what I was saying. I was just saying, at the purest sense, where it's just an idea, and the switching cost is not high, and there's no, and it's easy, obviously, to replicate. Not all software is going to be easy to replicate, because sometimes you have a lot of deep tech embedded in the software. So if you're using Waze, I can build a Waze competitive app, but I'm not going to have Waze's algorithm of how to actually take the fastest route. That's a complex algorithm, and AI is probably not going to write it to you for you today. So that's an idea. Another way of defensibility is in certain industries, like in regulatory industries. If you're doing business with a hospital and you're providing a great service with a software, they're not going to leave you for someone that's 20%, 30%, 40%, 50% cheaper, even if they're 50% better, as long as you're reliable enough to them. If you're reliable enough to them and the communication is good and they can get you to do what they want, they're not going to drop you. It's too much at risk. They have, like you said, they're not in the business of saving a dollar or this. They need stability, and they already established that. So it's kind of safe that unless you're really bad at it, once you get into kind of health system, you're probably pretty much in there as far as I understand. And there's other defensibilities too. So it's not one size fits all, but it's an idea, right? Of that we're kind of changing.
Right, but it's a strategic question that we need to answer, because it's going to change the way that we communicate, and it's going to change the way that we kind of operate. And honestly, at its natural conclusion, it would mean the difference between, taking my other company and determining maybe joining versus not. So
I think it's not relevant yet for the next 2-3 years, because I think we're still not at a place where people can replicate even the stuff that we're doing now I don't think anybody can replicate with just AI. They're going to have massive issues when it comes to scaling. They can maybe replicate it on their desktop. It's going to be working, but to work at scale, they can't do it with current AI. So I don't think it's an immediate concern. It was just a long-term, think about and to kind of pay attention where the market's moving. And some people disagree with it. Some people say, like, if you look at Twitter these days, you'll see a lot of people taking the other side of that. And I'm saying not just random people, like people that are running SaaS companies, like Aaron Levy from Box, or like I saw like some of these people counter-arguing and saying it's not true because when you're paying for a SaaS, you're not just paying for the software, you're paying for support, you're paying for reliability, you're paying, for a lot of things that are around just the software, not just the software itself.
Right.
And there's truth to that. I mean, a business is still going to be a business, but until now, it was almost like if you're ahead in the software world, you're making a lot of money because your software is scalable. You make it once, you sell it to 1 million people. But I think that's going to change over the next couple of years. But we shall see. It may be wrong. It's just a thought. And by the way, let me just add something. I've seen a lot of places that people say, if you think your competitors are going to take your ideas,
you don't have good ideas.
No, you're wrong. The competitors, they'll look at your thing, they'll think about it, and that's it.
Right.
They don't actually, no one literally, I mean, there are people that literally copy. Like Sam Walton is famous to finding all the stores, and he says himself, he took all the great ideas from all the stores all around the country, and he just put them into his store.
Right.
And China is also very good at copying. So there are some people that's what they do, but most people in nature, if they kind of took a path already, their software has a style, their business has a style, they're not suddenly going to be like very objective and flexible and being like, oh, yeah, we should do that. But it's not a rule.
Okay, so here's the clip. Ladies and gentlemen, all the people listening, lot of noise this week. Yesterday, actually today, there was a big event over at in Washington D.C. with our good friend Abe Sutton, other friend Jacob Schiff, a couple other folks from CMMI. Dr. Oz was there, obviously, and they released a new model called Access. And Access stands for something, but the C's are, I think, chronic care.
When you say model today, it sounds like an AI model.
Yeah, you're right. CMMI model. And the idea of this Access is very intriguing. Applications are going to open up in January. It's going to start in July of 2026, and it's going to run for 10 years. And it's going to be starting with a couple different tracks where folks are going to take on these tracks of patients and holistically care for them and get paid based on outcomes. And there's a certain recurring theme that we're finding with a lot of the models that are coming out from CMMI. So we have the Access model. We, as part of the big, beautiful bill that passed, you have this massive multi-billion-dollar, $50 billion rural health transformation grant that a lot of if you read it and you look at what they want to spend their money on, it follows this theme. Recently, you've had the guide model. You have the advanced primary care model. There's a lot of these models that are coming out. The recurring theme is that CMS is finally coming around when we talk about value-based care, where they want to pay you for care, but they want actual outcomes. And more importantly, they want you to prove it. Prove to me that you are actually the person that is affecting the reduction in utilization, that you are the person that is affecting the better patient care, that is managing that patient better to lead to less utilization, better health outcomes, and more healthy people overall. And so it's really exciting to see this. We obviously have been building for this. And all I'm going to say, I guess I'll keep a bit of a balanced approach here. If you are thinking about any of these models, and specifically the Access model, I highly recommend that we have a discussion, because if you are looking to prove that you are the person that is affecting better patient care, there is no better tool to do it than CareCo. We have literally been building for this. With this generation 2 of the call guide that we will be coming out with over the next, we already have it internally, but we'll be coming out with it over the next couple months. You are going to be able to, without a doubt, show the receipts that you are the person that is affecting that patient care and reducing that utilization and creating better patient outcomes, with the ultimate levels of proof at the point of conversation. So I think it's a very exciting time. 2 years ago, I wrote a book called Unleashing, I don't even know what it was called. Unleashing Value. It's right here. Unleashing Value, the case for AI and value-based care. And what I really talked about
Click on the link below to get it for
link below. It's on Amazon. But what I talked about in that book, and I wrote this like 2 years ago, well, like I co-wrote it with AI, or I kernel wrote it.
GPT 2.5.
Yeah, like the original model. But my point was that value-based care and AI is the perfect that AI and value-based care creates this perfect intersection to be able to accomplish value-based care for real. So, yeah, exciting times. If you're thinking about this model, highly recommend we have a chat. And I'll be putting out more content, hopefully, about this. I was just saying, I feel like we need to hire somebody just to talk about why CareCo is so critical for anyone that is trying to accomplish any of these government initiatives, because it is so aligned. But yeah, that's the clip that I wanted to do. So, how was that?
It's great. I'm just hesitant on releasing it because
I
I'm
didn't
like,
say anything.
I know, because I'm like if for whatever reason, like we're feeding somebody, like
Right.
you're planning on like putting this on LinkedIn. Like, I think let's be ready with the product and then release it.
We're ready with the product.
You gotta get ready before it goes out on LinkedIn.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but I mean like the full, like connecting with that. What's that database called?
API feed and everything.
No, that can actually give you the calculation for the.
Oh, I had a meeting with him this week. Whatever.
It's not serious.
No, it is serious, but
They're gonna give us a contract, no, that we can pay for.
Yeah. We'll see what the money is, but
that's huge. If you can say you're doing that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. All right, I mean, decide if to release it or not. I'm like hesitant.
I still think we should. I think unless we we made a strategic decision. We stood on a treadmill 2 years ago, and we decided that we're going to be fully open with things like this. And it might hurt us and it might help us, but our bet is that it's going to help us more than it's going to hurt us. So unless we make a strategic decision that we are going to be a service-based company and we are going to we're going to essentially buy Proviva and we're going to incorporate it and we're going to do this thing and unless we make that decision, we should push everything out.
But I don't think it's that black and white. I think it's like we could generally be open, but we can also be careful about what we're open and how we're open. So, for example, this thing, because it's such a aha moment where we realize that we can actually detect reduction utilization, and it's also so easy. It was so easy to do. Anybody can do it with like just ChatGPT and just drop
That's
a
not true,
transcript.
because it's after all the infrastructure that we've
Take
built.
this part out. Well,
it's not easy to do. You're under.
Can't vibe code CareCo right now.
Yeah.
Not CareCo, but you can say get me all the transcripts and use even Ring Central. I'll grab the transcripts from Ring Central or whatever, or Aircall, and I'll run it through ChatGPT and it'll find me the points in the transcript.
That's not a serious solution. That's a basement solution.
I'm just telling you that there's nothing complex here, and it was an aha moment that we got. And if we wouldn't have gotten it 3 months ago, we would have already had this 3 months ago. And all I'm saying is, why not come out with it when we're already like a year ahead of everybody else or 6 months ahead of everybody else? That's what I'm saying. Because I don't think
there is a flip side to it, that if you you can end up making the mistake that we have not made until this point, that most people do make. Most people just live under a rock and they build under a rock and they never talk about what they're
sales. Use it in sales, but not in marketing. Not like just open web, just like that. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not saying that I'm strongly against it. I just feel that it could be like there's a difference of long-term, your ideas being open and going to service-based company. And there's also, even if we have a great idea now, just let us bake, because there's always a first mover advantage. Like being a first mover advantage, you get the advantage by being first. And the more first you are, the more of the first mover advantage you have.
Mm-hmm.
When we come out with it in 2 months and it's like fully, oh my effing God kind of moment, where they see the numbers, they see the correlation to the call.
But how are they going to see it if we don't talk about it? Who's they?
So we can
my sales call?
Yeah, on your sales call. Or we can wait 2 weeks and then do it. I don't know.
Whatever. I already sold it a bunch, so I need it already. So.
No, for sure. That for sure. But I'm saying you could start slowly dominating the market through sales. And if you get an aggressive salesperson that's telling these people, hey guys, you can look at these numbers, and he hits the right, person in the company.
Are you ready to go back to break even for a salesperson?
For sure. Are you?
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's critical.
I don't even think we would, by the way. I think we're past that.
And I think we see the trend is that we're slowly making more and more and more.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing really good. I have money. It's so weird. I have like money in the bank.
It's like, I don't know what to do with it.
It's very strange.
You want money? Money?
Very, very weird.
It's like I get a Breaking Bad moment.
Thing. Yeah, it's very strange. But, yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? You think we should hire a salesperson and like use our last dollar in sales? I think sales and marketing. I think that's where it is.
Every good company is very effective with their money. Like holding on to money is not an effective use of it. You gotta
No,
put
for
it
sure. You have to have a buffer.
somehow.
I mean, that's not what I was asking. I was asking like, like the opportunity cost, like that versus spending it on other stuff. But first of all, we should like it's not true from a financial responsibility perspective. We should be hoarding money enough that we have 6 months of because right now, if anything happens, we could suddenly like when you're living month to month and then you lose your job, boom,
I
you're
think that okay, so that's just an allocation of where you're putting
right.
it for use. But like beyond that, I don't see why not keep spending to grow.
Yeah.
No, the question is
like,
where.
The question is there a way to like to prove out the concept of a salesperson without jumping in deep end?
Right. I just don't think there is. I mean, we've tried it with 6 people already. Like,
What do you mean 6 people?
hey, these fractional sales people,
Yeah.
super nice, very well intentioned. They love CareCo. They mean well, but no one's actually spending 8 hours a day knocking doors down. You know?
No, it needs to be
You can't give up. You can't give up.
No,
There are
No, I'm
people out
saying on
there.
the fractional model.
It needs to be a full-time
Oh
thing,
yeah.
but there needs to be an understanding that it's a trial of some sort.
I think it needs to be a world-class salesperson. Like this, we shouldn't give up. Like it's not something we're able to. It has to be. I mean, and that's the funniest thing because how are you going to get attractive for a world-class person to come? Like these guys are closing in these big SaaS companies that are like the hottest shit ever. They're closing these multi-million-dollar deals, and then you ask them to come to this little.
Why? We have multi-million-dollar deals to close.
To close, right? I know, but I'm saying
We're a great product.
you're talking about the future. I'm talking about the present right now. When they look at us, it's like. What it's a game to them. Realistically, Mendel, it's a game to them. It is a game to them. It's not.
Listen, every big company started like this. I'll tell you, I think I've said this in the
100%.
past, but like what's very interesting to me is whenever I think this is the stage where I think when you start out, you are fully delusional because you have to be, otherwise you don't start.
Yeah.
So you basically think
Every entrepreneur.
the whole world, we're going to change the entire world, and that's it. And then once you become a real business is when maybe that starts dying down, that fever starts dying down, and then you start second guessing yourself and you start having imposter syndrome. And that's where we are now. You're like, wait a second, man. But the honest truth is, look around. There are so many multi-billion dollar companies in health tech that their product is way stupider and less interesting and less than our product. Like that is a fact.
No. I'm not saying we're not doing great. The only reason why I'm talking about the salesperson is because getting a world-class salesperson is something that a lot of companies undervalued for a while. Even Google, by the way, in that Acquire podcast, they talk about it. How they had a great product, they had a great cloud product, but they weren't good at sales. And they brought in like these hotshot salespeople from Oracle that knew how to do like heavy sales. They came in, this guy, he redid the whole thing, and they started 2xing every year, or I don't know, or massively. Like they were making billions suddenly. Like instead of so, and I see this about a lot of companies. Like they have a great product, they have great marketing, everything outward facing is great, but the sales is not. The sales is okay, but it's not like world class level. It's not like the people that do enterprise deals that come in heavy and they close heavy deals. And I think like a lot of these big like Salesforce, Oracle, Microsoft, now even Google. The reason why they're successful is not just their product; it's their sales. Their sales is everything. I mean, It's funny coming from me, from like a developer product person, but I feel like the reason why it's important now is because we're ultimately going to get to the stage where we're going to say we need a world-class salesperson.
Might as well.
Maybe it's going to be in 2-3 years, and we're already going to have
No, I'm all about
$10 million in revenue, and then someone will jump from 10 to 100, and we're like, oh my god, why didn't we do this earlier? And now's the opportunity because now we have the best product in the market. We have no competition. Time is of the essence. Everything in AI is moving super fast. So you want to kind of take opportunity of this time to bring in the best people to sell it the most and sell it the best. Mm-hmm. That's just my thinking. It's like, why wait?
Yeah.
Why wait when you can do it now?
Yeah,
Like
and I
anything can happen from today to 2 years from now.
Yeah.
And I mean, all the good entrepreneurs always keep putting their chips back in.
As I said, like I'm literally for the last 10 years of my life, I've never I just keep putting everything on black. Like I'm not, I haven't taken anything off the table.
Yeah, we talked about taking something,
right.
And it's funny. Right as you were messaging me about maybe we should take something, take something a bit more. I was telling you how we should invest everything in sales.
Yeah.
I started sending you a message like, see, you're typing something. I hope this is not a conflict to what you're saying. And then it turned out it was
It was a good
conflict.
conflict. Those are the kind of
Yeah,
conflicts you want, where I'm looking out for you,
Right.
you're looking out for not you, basically.
I think it's too great an opportunity not to take.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like I could survive,
Right.
right? I mean, I'm not. Maybe my bank is in the red, but my
Right.
net assets are not in the red. So,
Right.
so like it's greedy. It's short-sighted to say, let me take another $5,000 now, and then
Right.
or whatever it is, and then
Yeah.
the bank is actually literally in the red. When you sent me that message, I was
Great.
below zero.
That's great.
I was gonna send you a screenshot, and I was like, "That's too much." I don't know. You may interpret it wrongly.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's yeah. No, I'm totally for it. Like,
It's the
as long
scariest
as
part is that you have sales experience, but you don't have, but you don't. I mean, do you feel confident that you know who the right person is? Like when you'll see them, you'll know that they're the right person.
no. I think from a human perspective, I will, but
Because the hardest thing is to hire something that you're not an expert in it yourself.
right.
So you're hiring somebody to be like,
I'm pretty good at people.
yeah,
Not like I don't know. But again, I didn't know Proviva when I hired the people for Proviva. I didn't know what a CTO was when I knew you because
right,
of a person. I didn't know you because of technical skills.
right,
So same thing with Shlomo. Same thing with Menachem.
yeah,
You know. So, and again, there's always a hire fast, fire faster. Like you don't have to keep someone around for 2 years. Like you're gonna know pretty quickly if someone is, even if someone is not. Enterprise deals take 18 months. That's what they take. They take 2
probably the
years.
healthcare space it takes longer.
No, in healthcare, health tech,
Okay.
whatever. It's 18 months is basically table stakes,
But
basic.
in AI, things are moving a little faster because everybody's feeling like this
In a
FOMO,
way
no?
slower though, because there's more chaos than FOMO. So like everyone's become paralyzed. I'm watching it. I'm talking to health systems that are in the same exact paralyzed position as they were 2 years ago.
Analysis paralysis.
Yeah, it's like crazy. But you're still going to see progress. You're going to see things. You're going to see things moving. You're going to see systems being built. You're going to see smaller deals closed. You're going to see if any of us, if our job was to focus for 8 hours a day on just sales, solely sales, building a pipeline, and especially if we had 20 years of experience of what it means to build a pipeline,
Right.
what it means to build the tools and the systems and everything, of course you would see progress. You wouldn't not see anything for 18 months, and then one day you would get a deal closed.
Right.
You know?
No, it's also about reading the right stuff and
even me, I don't say 90% of the conversations and the things that I have during the day on our daily updates because they're not actionable. But that's what it takes. I mean, Shlomo sits here for all day, and you hear it over and over and over
Right.
and over and over and over again. You know, I mean, am I right or wrong?
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a lot. Like, there's... Oh, yeah.
There's always conversation.
And literally, it's like, he'll join a call and be like, okay, gotta go, I have a call in a second.
I just
Boom, wow.
boom. Yeah.
it's intense. I wouldn't be able to. I can't do that.
There's
It's
days
too
that
much
I don't
energy
stop talking
draining.
for 9 hours.
For me, it's very energy draining to like
Yeah.
to deal with people,
To deal with people.
humans,
Yeah.
Homo sapiens. No, but I do think it's going to be hard to track. Like I'm aiming very high. Like for me, it's like if we don't get the top person, we get like someone that's top on paper, but like a mid in reality. That's gonna be the worst thing
So
ever.
that's so I actually have a concern about that, whether all the people that were legacy good people might be like, look at all of us. I think what we're all doing well is capitalizing on this AI boom in the best way for each of our individual corners of our space. And I feel like the type of person that succeeds in health sales is a stodgy, quote unquote, boring, old school type of person.
I think so too.
And it would be cool to find if somebody because you could break into technology because you could have breakthroughs in technology because it's just between you and the technology. But
sales is about managing relationships and communication, and I don't think any AI or technology can get you there forward. I mean, maybe on the prospecting and like setting up your pipeline and getting leads, maybe it can make you more efficient. But on the sales call and managing the sales, the people that you're working with on the other side and communicating with them, I think that's what you're saying. It's like those gray hair, boring people, but people that know how to
know what they're doing.
But I think we need someone that's enthusiastic. We can't
Yeah.
have someone. It could be someone old.
No, the energy
as long
has
as
to be there.
yeah, for sure. They have to believe in the product. They will have to want to be creative. Like you don't want the one of the downsides of people with experience is they want to retrofit everything that they see to the experience that they have because they think that everything needs to fit that. You want someone that's open-minded.
Right.
Experience could be a great tool if you're open-minded and you're like, okay, but I'm still flexible. I can work around this.
Also, I think you want I think what we would see to prove experience is confidence. Like I should be able to ask the person, okay, what would the plan be? Like, what is the plan? How do you like you should be able to answer that. If I asked you how to build an app,
sure.
you would be able to answer me. If you asked me, what do we need to get a company started? I would be able to answer that. If you asked, like Shlomo came in, we need this tool, we need this tool. Like, so I shouldn't have to know your space in order to get that sense of confidence. I should be able to turn to you and be like, okay, so what's the plan? And you should have a serious plan.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you should be able to say, I'm going to work on one. I'll get back to you later and get you.
Yeah. But if you're in this place for 10, 20 years and your thing is sales, there's a structure to it. Like it's funny. I used to draw fairly well and like in school, whatever.
And
like
you
as a
stop
kid.
drawing and now you don't
Yeah,
draw
then
well
I got
anymore?
when I was like
And
I just-
you lose your drawing ability?
no, to an extent, but more like just the patience to sit
Oh,
for
I think I
hours,
saw a
hours,
picture that
hours.
you draw like in your house hanging up, right? It's
Yeah,
not
a
bad.
couple.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
But keep your day job.
Right. So, no, but it's just like the hours that it takes to draw a picture. But my point is that like someone once got me an art book. I think my grandmother got me an art book, and it was starting to talk about like facial structures and like that's really like there's a method to art.
Right.
Obviously, there's the creativity to art, but if you actually understand art,
There's science
and
to it.
I was always the type of person. I think this carried through my whole life, where I just like do things, and I'm pretty good at them. But but there's other people that choose one thing and they learn the structure underneath, understanding the bone structure, understanding the skull, understanding the whole, the whole body, like everything, the way that everything works, so that like you understand the skeleton of the human, so that you could draw the correct proportions in someone's face, right? Like all those things. I think that's how it is. Like I'm pretty good at sales.
You're very good intuitively.
Right, but I
you don't have the knowledge.
Process, right, I don't have the process. I'm not doing it in a structured way. I don't understand the skull and the skeleton.
You don't have the education.
Right, and I think for somebody that's like, your job is to do this, they should be coming in understanding they've done this for 10, 20 years. They've read the books. They have the real life experience. And they understand. First, you draw a skull, then you lay on the eye sockets, and then you lay on the, you know what I mean, and then you put a face together.
One thing I always liked that I saw a lot of like if you read a lot of successful entrepreneur stories is like optimize for talent over experience. Like talent is way better than experience because experience could be learned. Talent,
but I don't know about
acquired.
In sales. It might be different.
In sales, it's true. I think in sales you want a mix of both.
Yeah,
because
you don't really get experience in sales without talent.
Without what?
You don't really get experience in sales without talent.
Yeah, that's also true. Exactly.
Because you're either closing sales or you're not.
Actually, I saw something else. Who mentioned that on one of these recent, maybe it was a 20 VC podcast, he interviewed somebody that was like, I can't remember which company, but he says that they took for granted that a lot of salespeople that worked in a big company were successful because they worked in that company and they hired them and they were like just so terrible. I mean, it doesn't mean they were successful, but like if you're working in a great company that has the best product ever, and like a lot of the sales guys that I deal with now on the SaaS products that, like all our vendors, like a lot of them are like, oh.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm going to talk to them because they have the product that I need.
Right.
So they're not successful. Yeah, on paper, they close maybe a few, an aggregate a few $1 million of deals a year, but I could do a better job than them. I mean, so that says a lot.
You're surprisingly good at sales because you're very analytical.
Yeah.
And you're very cold.
Cold is good.
Meaning like in a way that like you don't get excited and you ask the questions that you think logically make sense and you're not scared to ask those questions and you just look at somebody. Right. And so you're actually very good at dissecting a conversation and making people think. Like, I don't think you're trying to be a salesperson in those scenarios, but I
think the world-class salespeople are much better. They're good listeners. They listen, they understand. They try to understand, like I was reading about this, like this whole concept of a champion, like in enterprise sales, it's like you have to build champions. You have to understand. Well,
this reminds me. I'm sorry, but the idea of a champion is like say basics when it comes to sales. Okay, like it is the most basic concept ever. And I remember talking to somebody like maybe 8 months ago or a year ago, and like a enterprise salesperson, and he was telling me no, or it was another. It was sorry, it was on a podcast episode, a healthcare geopolitics podcast, and it was a CEO of another company, and he was telling me about how he landed these sales, how he got a champion in the thing. And I was like, that's an amazing term. Can I steal that? It was like the first time I heard of this concept. And he's like, sure. And like,
He's like, you're kidding, right?
So
and you're like, yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, what were you saying?
No, I was saying about the champion, that it's like, I mean, working with a champion, I was reading about it. So someone was like, oh, how do we get back to that topic?
What?
No.
1 second. One of our
But
big clients just texted me. It's actually funny because he's texting me about the it is.
I was reading how it's like working with a champion is so it's a lot about setting expectations and saying, what are your pain points that I'm going to be solving with this product? Who are the stakeholders in the company? You know, what kind of OKRs or KPIs are we hitting with this thing? How do we best message that and position that properly?
Also, as a person, their goals in the company, like what's going to benefit.
Yeah, personal,
them.
exactly. So them personal and the company, and make sure that both of them, you're delivering on both of them, because otherwise someone's going to fizzle out ultimately.
Right.
And also constant syncing with them offline, seeing that they're ready to put in that extra effort. There's so much to it. It's a world of its own. But it's incredible. It almost feels like when you build a champion in a company, like if you just think about it like naively, it's like, oh, it's like a espionage like tactic, but it's not. I mean, it's just, if you have a very good product, you need to be able to convince someone on the inside that it's good, and then you help them push it through.
Right. But yeah, there's a lot of structure to it. I think you need a lot of champions and a lot of buy-in and a lot of stringing it together and asking the right questions and understanding. Also, I think something that comes with experience is understanding the signals, like knowing what something means when someone says it. You know, like you read sometimes these psychology books and then you start for a while, you don't hear conversations, you just hear like moves.
No, because I never read a psychology book.
I don't know. Yeah, sometimes I'll read these books that like I used to. I mean, haven't had time in a while, but like a couple years ago, I was super into like behavioral psychology and stuff like that, and people. And so you read these books, and then for the next while, anytime you have a conversation, you literally don't even hear the words that are coming out of the other person's mouth. You just hear the chess moves basically that are being
Mm-hmm.
And it's like
interesting.
When you do sales long enough, you understand what's going on.
That's when you turn into a psychopath.
Yeah, probably. Fair enough. Yeah, but cool. Episode 47.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to make a pitch for a salesperson?
If you are, why didn't Shlomi do the pitch?
Yeah.
Okay. How am I? Now I'm like nervous because I'm like, it has to be done well. We could lose our best salesperson.
Imagine you're speaking to like, I don't know, the best person in the world, perfect candidate. How are you convincing him?
You want to make me more nervous? I mean, it's pretty obvious. We have the best product in our space. There's no competition. We have it's an underserved space. There's a lot of money in this space. We're doing so great, but we're on the lower end of the market, and we are looking for someone to come in and to introduce us to the upper end of the market. I mean, introduce it's not going to work. You do it.
Oh, you're doing great.
Yeah. I mean, we have an incredible product. We have take 3. I mean, we literally have our product is crushing. It's the best product in our space. Like no one's even close. We have the best product. It's an underserved space. There's a lot of money here. AI is the perfect timing right now for these kind of products. And we just don't have enough people to push it to people that need to know that they need it. That was complicated. Anyways, you do it. Mendel, give it a try.
Yeah, I think it was good. If you're exceptional at sales, enterprise health sales, you've closed sales, you've been promoted in organizations, you've made yourself a lot of money because you've made the organization a lot of money. That's how sales works. And you are maybe thinking to yourself, am I getting left behind in this AI world? Is my product still going to be around? Is my company still going to be around? And you're looking for that company that you can come in as a leader and not just be a VP of sales, but really head up sales and go and crush sales and build for an incredible company. Then look no further. Talk to us at CareCo. We have the premier product in the care teams, care coordination, care management, utilization management space. We're selling to payers, health systems, and care coordination third-party service companies. We launched in January. We're growing extremely quickly. We are profitable, extremely talented team, and we are looking for someone to blow up sales. I think it's all the ingredients that you could ever want to bake a success cake, and we're looking for a chef. So if that chef is you, knock on my door.
I was like, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this again out because I feel like I can do better than that. If you're an exceptionally talented salesperson and you're hungry and you want a product that's going to sell like hotcake and you want to help take that product to upper market, come join us at CareCo. We have an incredible team. We have the best product ever. We're in an underserved space with no competition. This thing is going to sell, but we need an amazing person that's driven and loves sales and understands enterprise sales and is going to help us build a team and a strategy around moving higher up in the market.
Done and done. Episode 38.